Perennial polycultures are the building blocks of an edible forest garden. So what makes a good perennial polyculture? Well, the first part is you need to have perennial food plants, fruits, nuts, perennial vegetables, and more. Second part is you need perennial support plants to fix nitrogen, serve as a ground cover, help with pest control. We want to have minimal competition between our plants and maximum cooperation. We want to make sure that each plant we're including is well adapted to the niche that we're providing for it. And this is a wild polyculture I saw last year in Maryland. The canopy is black locust and underneath is pawpaw growing in the shade. And what's nice about this is the black locust is fixing nitrogen, and when about a third of your species in full sun are nitrogen fixers, you're really able to fix enough nitrogen that you don't need any extra fertilizer brought in. In this case, with a canopy fixing nitrogen, you really want some shade-loving crops that are going to be able to produce beneath that canopy. In this case, we have the pawpaw, which is a wonderful native fruit that does very nicely in the shade. Our next polyculture is fruit trees, pea shrubs, and gooseberries. In this case, fruit tree is an Asian pear. The nitrogen fixer is a Siberian pea shrub, and we have gooseberries growing underneath, layered out very nicely and filling in that understory. So it's nice to have a shade lover like gooseberry growing under your sun-loving fruit trees or main producing trees. You have a secondary crop underneath. We've also got a very nice ground cover being provided by those gooseberries that have been layered and layered over the years and filling in very nicely. And finally, the last element of this simple stripped down system is Siberian pea shrub, which is fixing nitrogen and helping to provide that fertility need so that its companions can produce well. Our next polyculture is ramps growing under Jostaberries. Jostaberries are another relative of gooseberry. They're a shade-tolerant fruit, like partial shade, and ramps are a native wild edible that really wants full shade, and they're a wonderful wild onion. So we've got the two of these growing together. We have a full shade lover under a part shade lover, so they're both happy and perfectly adapted to those conditions. And we've got, when we put all these things together, is a little module, a little unit that you can replicate anywhere in the garden. You have partial shade with the right amount of moisture. You can put this, repeat this polyculture over and over again. Our final polyculture is Turkish rocket with white clover. Turkish rocket is a beautiful perennial broccoli with excellent mustardy flavored broccolis, and white clover is a running ground cover. It's low and it spreads in every direction aggressively, and if the Turkish rocket wasn't as big as it is, it would be smothered by this running ground cover. So you always want your running species to be lower than your clumping species that stay in place so that they don't get smothered too aggressively. In this polyculture, we also have a complete ground cover with our white clover, which is also fixing nitrogen. So that's really a multi-purpose species, giving us many benefits. To get my full list of 40 guidelines for perennial polyculture design and some hands-on practice, check out my upcoming workshop.